So you've just picked up your Quest 2, or even if you're an experienced user, this video is going to cover pretty much everything you need to know in order to get you started in the best games suited to your level of need. Because I'm about to hit up the best Quest games for new users that are day one users just about to try and learn their journey into virtual reality, to moderate users that are just kind of getting their VR legs, all the way through to expert level, where you have a cast iron stomach and you can live in virtual reality because you're that good. First up on this list, possibly the first game that almost everyone plays when they get into virtual reality, is Beat Saber. Now, not only is this a solid game, but I believe you get it for free when you buy a Quest these days anyway, and even if you don't, there is a free trial where you can get in and have a demo of Beat Saber. This game is a super duper easy game to get into. Get in, choppy chop blocks, dance to some banging beats, and have a solid experience. I don't think I've ever showed someone Beat Saber that doesn't like it, and honestly, it's just a very, very comfortable experience for anyone who's new coming into it. The same with the next title I'm going to talk about, which is Smash Drums. Smash Drums is again that same sort of beat rhythmy type game, except for this time you're playing an epic drummer in some pretty incredible sceneries, and even with some solid multiplayer action in this game as well. So definitely check out Smash Drums, as it will appeal to the more rockier people and give you that vibe of being a badass drummer. Next up, we get into something a little bit more spicy, but again, this is one of those games that's perfectly designed for people that are new into virtual reality, and that is Red Matter 1 and 2. Both of these games are quite frankly stunning on the Quest, and it's a very good experience into a very story-driven sort of experience, and I feel like this is one of those games that you can definitely get your teeth into no matter what level of virtual reality you are at. So definitely check out these. Next up, we have The Climb 1 and 2. Both of these games are absolute solid experiences that will give you the sensation of climbing, and honestly, they're such a comfortable experience, it just feels amazing. They're super duper immersive because they just look quite frankly stunning. Regardless of whether you like climbing or not, this is definitely one for everyone to get in and just enjoy and kind of have the rush of virtual reality without the movement. Next up is I Expect You to Die 1 and 2. Oh gosh, yes, I know, all of these seem to have 1 and 2s because they're very good games that are brilliant to jump into for your first experience. I Expect You to Die is such a fun, whimsical adventure where you get in and solve a bunch of puzzles, and yes, they do expect you to die because you will fail a few times while you learn how to get through each of these locations. There is a ton to do in each of these games, definitely fully recommend them, they're just fun, solid experiences. Last up is Demeo. This is a must-have game and such a comfortable game to be able to get into on your first entrance into VR. If you're into sort of like D&D or board games or anything like that, this is going to fill that void for you. There's a ton of different stuff you can do in there. There's 5 different Avengers that are sort of procedural to a degree, so each one of them has a ton of replayability. Also, you can play with flat screen players as well as you being in virtual reality, so it kind of opens up that door to you playing with people that aren't even in VR, and it just gives you a solid freaking experience all round. Honestly, get this game in your life because it is top notch, and it pretty much doesn't come any more comfortable than playing this game in virtual reality. Well, hi there. You've just leveled up to medium, baby. That's right, we're in the medium section now. This is kind of like where you're done with learning how to sort of VR, you're good with a bit of movement, and you're now getting into that point where you kind of want to venture out and see what's out there in the other spaces, the more thrilling spaces, maybe say. But before we go there, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because that would be really lovely. I would appreciate it. Jumping into the medium games, we're going to kick this off, my friends, with Among Us VR. If you're looking for a fun multiplayer experience, this one has that for you. Now, this is quite a moderately comfortable game, but there is movement in there, so, you know, of course, while you're getting your legs, this is going to be the fun place for you to be. Among Us, we all know what it is by now. Definitely go check it out. Next up, we have Espire 1 and 2. Both of these games are very solid experiences, and honestly, I find them to be quite comfortable games. There's a lot of stuff that's put into this game to make it comfortable, like blinders and sort of like different VR comfort levels that will allow you to get comfortable with how you want to feel in this game. So I definitely fully recommend this. It's got a plethora of awesome stuff to be able to play around with to make the experience comfortable for you. Next up, we have After the Fall. Now, this is actually a funny one because it could possibly almost teeter onto the expert list, but I feel like this one is still a very comfortable game with a ton of different options to make it comfortable, and good for you that After the Fall is going to make it onto this list for the mediums. Now, After the Fall is a 4-person co-op adventure where you're going to go off and destroy a bunch of snowbreed, i.e. zombies that are frozen. Honestly, a fantastic game, couldn't recommend it enough. If you're getting into a game to find some friends, then you'll always find people online with this one, and if you're getting in with just a few mates that you already know, then you're going to have some of the best laughs you'll experience. Next up is a solo adventure, Into the Radius. This is a game that kind of gives you that first walkway into mild horror with a survival aspect to go alongside it. Into the Radius has again a bunch of really good movement systems that will kind of help you get comfortable in virtual reality, moving around for the first time. I think this is going to be one of those ones again that almost sort of teeters into the list of the experts, but really kind of just sits on this side of things because it has some brilliant comfort options that will really integrate you and make you feel comfortable in the game. Last up on this list we have Iron Man VR. Now you're probably going to think I'm crazy here, but for some reason, I honestly think this is one of those games that's going to be comfortable for all medium users. Reason being, again, a bunch of comfort options, and flying around tends to not be as bad for most people because the movement system feels very controlled to your body. You're not really walking, you're only really sort of mostly flying and stuff. And it kind of just leads people to feel quite comfortable in virtual reality. And honestly, it's a freaking amazing game. So definitely go check out Iron Man VR. And last up on the list for the mid-tier games is Swordsman VR. This game is a great game to sort of get into that sort of style of movement and fighting. It really kind of has it all, as well as a campaign and of course really solid sword mechanics. The reason I suggest this game is it's all about sort of being smart in how you move. It's not about jumping and running, it's more about being tactical and having the correct sort of slices and dices and doing what you're doing. You can do a lot of crazy stuff in this game, but honestly if you play through the campaign you're more urged towards that sort of smarter decision making with sword fighting, more of a realistic base in it. You've journeyed through now. You've been a beginner, you've gone to the medium levels, and now we're about to enter expert territory. Now going into the expert games, we have games like Blade and Sorcery. This is a very high speedy movement system. This is jumping, this is running, this is stabbing, fighting, doing everything you can possibly think of in virtual reality. Definitely, I would say this is hitting the expert level. You need to be very comfortable with your VR legs to be able to move around in a game like this. Next up we have Saints and Sinners 1 and 2. Honestly, this could almost fall into that medium section as well because it does have a lot of comfort options, but I still feel like it's a very high octane game, quite intense at points, and honestly, if you're kind of feeling a bit magoo, you might not want to be jumping into this one. You might want to hold off until you get ready to be in this expert level. Next up we have Green Hell. If you want to get in and die repeatedly whilst having a good time in a beautiful looking forest, then this will be the game for you. It's an open world adventure survival game with some pretty good horror elements, I'm not going to lie. There's some bits that will make you poop your pants. Anyway, this game definitely I think is for the higher users, and honestly it's got some good comfort options, but really I just feel like the way that the movement is in this game, it kind of could trigger some people, so that's why it's in the expert level. Last up on this list is possibly what I would declare even the game that sometimes can turn an expert's tummy, BONELAB. BONELAB is a full body experience. I say that with the most honesty I can possibly say it. This is a game that honestly, it's extreme. There's a lot of physics to this game and it doesn't always do what you expect it to, which can be quite jarring, especially for a new user. So go into BONELABs expecting you need to have a good tummy for this one. You need to be locked in and ready for pretty much anything. Now that is going to do us for this tiered list of all the way from the day you buy your Quest right through until you're a freaking hardcore expert at the end of this. Anyway guys and girls, thank you so much. I hope you've just got yourself a brand new VR headset, and if you have, then welcome to the VR world, and let's go into the metaverse together and have a hell of a journey. If you're interested in checking out the very best games that came out this year, then click on this list. Hey, if you're new to the channel, click over here and subscribe and join the crew. The kingdom